Railway Operating and Safety Rules, FM 55-21, July 1989. Approval of public release. Distributed on limited headquarters of the Army Field Manual. This Army Railway Operation and Safety Rules Prefix. U.S. Army may be called on to operate railroads worldwide. This manual provides standard code of operating rules. Personnel engaged in the operation of military railways. The rules given in this publication are consistent with those railroads throughout the United States and many foreign countries. Some rules have been modified and adapted to operating conditions peculiarly to the military railroad. The distribution restriction approved for public release. Distribution is unlimited. The publication supersedes TM 55-200 and TO 45-1-5, 14 September 14th. September 14th, 1973, recedents of DA Form 4094R, 4095R, 4096R, 4097R, May 1973. In order to work productively, safely, personnel must acknowledge and operate rules and specific instructions of the military railroad, commanders of the railway installations, commander of the railway. In order to work productively, safely, and personnel must be knowledgeably to obtain rules, special instruction to the military railroad commanders, railway operations, installation activities assigned using the railway equipment are responsible for selecting, training, and testing railway operating personnel in accordance with the manual of AR 611-201. The proponent of the publication of the headquarters of trade submit changes and improving the publications of DA Form 2028. Recommended changes, publication in blank forms, forwarding the commandment of the U.S. Army Transportation School, the ATSP-TDL-Fort Eustis, VA 23604-53999. Unless otherwise stated, whether the masculine gender is used, both women and men are included. Table of contents, general rules, safety rules, operating rules, special rules, chapter 2, operating rules, standard timetables, signals and their use of superiority of trains, movements of trains and engines, chapter 3, train orders, movements of train orders, prescribed forms for train orders, examples of train order forms, chapter 4, single aspects, distance signals, chapter 5, block singles, track permits with the ABS territory, movement with the train within current traffic of the main track, and protection within the main tracks where the current traffic has been established. Absolute permissive block system rules applicable only within centralized traffic control limits. Chapter 6, track warrant and bulletins rules applicable within the track warrant control limits. Track bulletin rules. Chapter 7, railroad radio rules. Chapter 8, conduct of personnel safety, general rules of conduct, personnel injuries, accidents. Chapter 9, special rules for duty personnel, training, dispatch agents, operators, yard masters, engineers, conductors, trainmen, firemen, auto railer, track car drivers, personnel performing trailers containing multi-level operations, maintenance of the railway, maintenance of way, personnel, general watchman, train clearance, flagman protection, fire camp cars, track rights of way, track clearance, materials of tool handling, tool applicants, machines. Chapter 11, maintenance of equipment, safety, clothing, shoes, tools, machines, prepare, track, shop precautions, hand tools, welding, cutting, cranes, hoisting, directs, ladders and scaffolds, electrical line work, and appendix and glossary reference and index. Chapter 1, general rules. The Department of the Army Railways include all railways construction maintained operated in the Army use of military personnel, civilian personnel use of military direction. Department of the Army U.S. Army Railways classified in military utility railways. Personnel must be knowledgeable of all following the terms to understand comply with the railway operating safety rules. These rules pertain to the safe operation Department of the Army Railways containing the general information to operators and the railway personnel. Absolute block, a length of track that is no train in which no train engine is permitted to enter while it is occupied by another train. Absolute permissive block, a designated section of tracks or track within movement of the trains governed by the block signals will supersede the superiority of trains. The block signals must be controlled manually or automatic. Absolute signals, a block interlocking signal designated by an A marker of the absence of number plate. Automatic block signal system, a series of consecutive blocks governed by the a series of consecutive blocks governed by the block signals and cab signals. of both actuated train engine in certain conditions affecting the use of block automatic cab signals systems, a system which provides an automatic operation cab signals and cab warning whistle, automatic train stop system, a system adequately or a system actuated to by wayside inductor so arranged that it is operation automatically results in application of the brakes until the train has been brought to a stop. Block occupancy indicator, the indicator used in the conveyor convey information regarding the block occupancy. Block signal, a fixed signal entrance of the block governing the train's engineering entering the use of block system. A block is a series consecutive block with APB, ABS, and ACS and CTC and interlocking limits. Cab signal, signal located in the engineer's compartment. Cab indicating condition affecting the movement of the train, and engine cab interlocking systems are used together along within the place of the blocking system. Centralized traffic control, CTC, and a remote controlled block signal system under the train movements and authorized by the block signal whose indication supersedes the superiority of trains. Controlled siding with the CTC interlocking limits, authorization use of controlled siding and governed by signal indication or a control operator. Controlled signal, an absolute signal with whose aspect control the control operator. Crossover, a track connection between the two adjacent tracks. Current of the track, the movement of the trains of the main track one direction specified by the rules. Distance signal, a fixed signal outside of the block use of government to the approach of block signal. Interlocking signal, switch point indicator, it will not convey information as to condition affecting the use of the track between the distance signal and block. Interlocking signal, switch point indicator to which approach is governed, and it will be identified by a D marker. Division of portion of railroad designated timetable. Double tracking is DT, two main tracks on which the current of the traffic is specified direction on one track and the opposite direction on the other. Dual control switch, a power operated switch also equipped with a hand operating switch. Electrical switch, the electrical control locks device affixed to the hand operated switch and derail control it to control its use. Engine or unit is propelled by any form of energy or a combination of such units operated by a single control use of train or yard services. Extra train, a train not authorized by the timetable schedule, the train designated as extra or work extra. Extra, for an extra train except for work extra, movement of which is authorized is specified in the direction. Work extra, for any extra train authorized by Form H but in a training order, the movement which may be in either direction with specified limits. Fixed signal, a signal located in location indication conditioning the effect of the movement of the train. Initial and originating station, the first station, each subdivision from which the train is authorized to occupy the main track. Interlocking, an arrangement and signal appliance interlocking the movements must succeed each of the other in proper sequence. It may be operated manually, automatically. Interlocking limits the track between the outer opposing the absolute signal of interlocking. Interlocking signals, a fixed signal, and interlocking governing trains. Use of interlocking limits main track. The train extends the yards between the station, which must be not occupied without authority or protection. Multi-main tracks, two or more main tracks. The use of the designated in the timetable. Overlapping sign, a sign marking and a limit control of the block signal. Pilot, a personnel assigned in the train where the engineer's conductor is not acquainted with the rules or portion of the railroad in which the train is to be moved. Register station, a station in which the train register is located. Regular train, a train authorized by a timetable schedule. Restricted speed, a speed not exceeding 20 miles per hour will permit stopping of one half of the range of vision. A short train engine, railroad car stop signal. Derail switch not properly aligned will allow the looking out of the broken rail. Schedule of the part of the timetable which prescribes class direction number the movement of the regular train siding. A track auxiliary main track of the meeting and the passing times. The timetable will be indicated stations at which the sidings are located. Signals, aspects, the appearance of fixed signals conveying the indication as reviewed of the direction of approaching train and the appearance of the cab signal conveying an indication as reviewed, observed in the cab signal indication of the information conveyed in a single aspect by the single aspect, the single track, a main track upon which the train is operated in both directions, a spring switch, a switch equipped with a spring and mechanism to restore to the switch points to the original position after having been trailed through. A station, a place designated for the timetable station's column by name. Subdivision, a portion of the division designated by the timetable. Superior train, a train having precedence over another train. Switch point indicator, a light indicator in the connection with the face point. Movement over certain switches to indicate proper fit or switch points. Terminating station, a last station on each of the subdivisions in which the train is authorized to occupy the main track. Timetable, the authority of movement of the regular train subject to the rules that may contain classified schedules, include special instruction, track bulletin, and notice containing information as track conditions or other conditions necessary for safe operation of the train engines. Track permit, a form authorized occupants via main track where designated by a special instruction. Trackside warning detector, wayside detectors provide various locations are shown in timetables which detect those conditions, overheated journals, dragging equipment, dimensions, shifted loads, higher water, and slides. Track warning control, TWC, a method authorization movements of training engines or protecting personnel, machines, and main track, and with specified limits in their territory designated by a special instruction or general order. Train and engines. An engine or engines with or without cards displaying a marker authorized to operate the main track. A train register, a book or form used to designate stations, register time, arrival, departure trains, and other information as may be inscribed. Variable switch, a switch designated with the letter V in a bold painted yellow that remains lined in the position of which is forced when trailed through the switch points. Yard, a system of tracks other than main tracks or sidings used in making up trains, storing cars, and for other purposes. Yard limits, a portion of made design yard limits are made by a timetable train order from T to the track bulletin. It uses trains and engines as prescribed in Rule 93. Yard engine and engine assigned to the yard service to yard services. Safety rules. Safety is the first importance in the discharge of the duty. Obedience in the rules essential to the safety to the remain in the service. The service demands a faithful, intelligent, courteous discharge of the duty. Personnel must be used to the care to prevent injury to themselves and to others. They must be alert and attentive to all times of performing their duties and plan to work to avoid injury. Authorized personnel must report any accidents, personal injuries, defects in track bridges, signals, or any unusual conditions affecting the safe, efficient operation of the railroad. First means of the communication or written report must follow the properly operating rules. Personnel whose duties are prescribed operating must have a copy available for the reference while on duty. Personnel whose duties are affected by the timetable. Special instructions must have a current copy immediately available for the reference while on duty. Personnel must be familiar with their obey and the rules instruction. If they are doubted as to meaning of any rules instruction, personnel must ask the supervisor for explanation. The most attend to the required classes pass the required examinations. Rules may be issued, canceled, modified. General order, timetable, special instruction when authorized as a superintendent or battalion commander. General orders or special instruction may be canceled, modified, issued, or by train order or Form Q of the track bulletin. Personnel must cooperate, assist carrying out the rules. Instruction must promptly report any violations to a proper officer. They must also report any conditions, practice affecting in the safety of trains and passengers or personnel, and any misconduct, negligence affecting the interests of the government. Personnel must expect the movement of the trains, engine, cars, and other movement equipment at the time or any track in either direction. They must stand on the track in front of the approaching engine, car, or other moving equipment. Personnel must know the location of the standing minimum clearance of the structures of obstruction. Personnel whose duties require service in other than more than one division terminal or another railroad are are under jurisdiction of the officers division terminal of the railroad in which the services are being performing the services of another railroad, unless otherwise instructed. Personnel will be governed in safety rules and the air brake train handling rules of the railroad which they are employed, to operating rules and the timetable of the railroad upon which they are operating. Train engine services personnel must not occupy the roof of a freight car caboose under the circumstances other than personnel whose duty requires to occupy the roof of a car caboose and may do so as only as equipment in standing. Special rules. Rules with the specific prefix S apply to the single track only. Personnel must familiarize the following terms as they apply in special orders. Cars. Railroad car. Conductor on yard engine. Foreman. Individual complete charge of the train crew. Control operator. Person assigned to operate the centralized traffic control CTC interlocking control machine authorized to grant track permits. Engine man. Engineers and firemen and holsters. Flagman. Any soldier providing flag protection. Foreman. A soldier in charge of work. Trainman. Conductor. Brakeman. Yard engine foreman. Switchman and yard helpers. Train. Use of connection of the train. Trains. Used in connection with the speed restriction, flag protection, observance of all signals except for the train order signals and signal rules are also except train order signals and signal rules are also applied to the engine. Switch special instructions. Special instructions contained in the timetable in the pamphlet submental to the timetable. When there are multiple rules under the same number followed by the suffix letter, each rule is concerned. When there are multiple rules under the same number followed by the suffix letter, each rule is concerned as a separate rule. W. Bile rules are subdivided in conveniency that they apply equally to all must be observed wherever they relate in any way to the discharge of personnel duties. The following authorized abbreviations is used in train orders, track warrants, track bulletins, or clearances. Initials are authorized for the use of in the place of the train dispatcher signal, and the use of abbreviations of the names of the month, except for May, June, and July, are also allowed. Authorization abbreviations in train orders. ABR, absolute block register. ABS, automatic block signal system. ACS, automatic cab signal. AMTK, Amtrak. APB, absolute permissive block. ATC, automatic train control. ATS, automatic train stop. CNE, conductor and engineer. Corn, complete. Conductor. CONDR, conductor. CTC, centralized traffic control. DISPR, dispatcher. DIV, division. ENG, engine. ENGR, engineer. FRT, freight. Jet, junction. Max, maximum. MW, maintenance of the way. MSGR, messenger. RA, reins, minutes. MMP, milepost. MPH, miles per hour. NO, numbered. OK, correct. OPR, operator. ORIG, originating. PSGR, passenger. Subdivision. SUPT, superintendent. TWC, track warrant control. YM, yardmaster. Chapter 2, operating rules.